Mike Lindell has a storied history of making absolutely unhinged claims. His most recent one included an announcement that he was going to sue all machines. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but give this one a listen. It's from early March 2022.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've been working on it 5 months, and we're doing a class action. Actually, I'm announcing it here. I announced it on my program. You all watch frankspeech.com? Keep watching.
He has always got a plug. Frank's Speech, Lindell TV, and all of his other social media and all that stuff. I mean, I guess I can't fault the guy. I plug stuff, too, from time to time. That's the Arizona state flag in the background, by the way. I think he's speaking in Arizona here.
But it's a class action lawsuit against all machines.
Uh-oh.
And that they're defective devices, okay?
I guess I'll borrow a joke from David Pakman and point out that my espresso maker has entered the witness protection program for fear of what Mike Lindell is about to do to it. Obviously, he means voting machines, but he didn't get specific enough to tell us what he meant exactly, so it's fun to poke at him.
I have lawyers worked on this for 5 months. We're getting county commissioners, county clerks. They're all the plaintiffs, and we've already got about 300 on board. And we're going to get rid of these machines once and for all for any election in history.
The interesting thing about this is that it's not unheard of to sue inanimate objects. Like, for example, there's this thing called civil forfeiture, which is absolutely awful. And it's basically where police, if they stop you and you have any amount of money on you at all, they can just take it and keep it. Civil forfeiture. I think the legal process behind that involves suing the money. So, I mean, there are a couple of weird little legal loopholes or legal quirks that allow you to sue inanimate objects from time to time. Mike Lindell suing voting machines is absolutely ridiculous, from top to bottom. The guy, for the past 4 years, basically, or more, the guy has gone on unhinged rant after unhinged rant, becoming more and more unhinged as time went on. Is the dude even on the hinges anymore? Honestly. Anyway, so that was one of his more recent debacles that he took part in. Like I said, it was like March 2022 when that happened, I think. Well, guess what? He's got more debacles happening right now. This one is mid-June 2022. This is on Lindell TV. Again, the guy is a billionaire. He got so incredibly rich by inventing a new type of pillow, okay? I mean, I'm sure you know this, but I want to put this into context to really illustrate how completely, ridiculous this whole situation is. I want to put it into context what kind of a bizarre world we live in all of a sudden. The Pillow Man, Mike Lindell, the billionaire pillow mogul, now runs Lindell TV, okay? This TV network with all kinds of far-right extremist stuff on it. And on his show, as it turns out, he goes on there mid-June 2022, and he tells the host that Walmart has canceled him. After he pulled a bunch of election shenaniganery, like in the past 6 months to a year, he was canceled by a bunch of people. They didn't, Kohl's didn't want to sell his pillow anymore. Neither did Target. Bank of America dropped him because of all the unhinged, questionable stuff he's been engaging in, not because of his political opinions. There are a lot of people out there with far-right extremist political opinions who are still selling their stuff through Target and Walmart and working with Bank of America. Those companies don't really care about that. What they care about is not being subpoenaed by courts for Mike Lindell's records. What they care about is not being tied to somebody that is completely disconnected from reality. That's why these companies are canceling Mike, because he has gone completely off the deep end at this point. So listen to what he had to say about Walmart canceling him or, not selling my pillow anymore.
And I said, I get it. You're canceling us. And he had this smirk on his face, and I slammed the computer. Disgusting. Shame on you, Walmart. Shame on you. Just because you thought you could wait until now for the American people, for the people of this country to sit there and do a slow cancel out It's just as bad. You should have just done it on day one when I stood up with the evidence out there. That's what they should have done, Brandon. You know, they're cowards. They're disgusting.
It's kind of weird to me that Walmart didn't cancel him when everybody else did. Mike Lindell, of course, claims to have evidence of fraud in the election, all this stuff. He doesn't. He held this whole cyber symposium where he claimed he was going to come out with all the evidence and show it to everybody, and you wouldn't be able to deny it after that. There was no evidence. It didn't show us anything. He was completely full of it the entire time. That doesn't matter, though, of course. The guy's going to continue to come out and say he showed the evidence to everybody. So anyone who believes that the election was legitimate after he showed it to us belongs behind bars, blah, blah, blah. He didn't show us any evidence. That's the problem. You show me evidence of wide-scale fraud enough to flip the election, I'll believe it. That is really all I need. That's all I need. Unfortunately, you haven't provided it to me or anybody else so far. Anyways, everyone else canceled him when that symposium took place, is the point here. Target and Kohl's and a bunch of people, they dropped him after that. Walmart didn't. Apparently, Walmart is just now parting ways with him. And you know what? If Walmart doesn't want to work with somebody, that's their right. They don't have to. They're not legally obligated to sell a product in their store. So he's really, really upset over Walmart doing that. But he's not just upset over Walmart doing that. He decided to take it a step further. Listen to this one, mid-June. This is on RSBN. He's talking about Walmart in the very beginning here.
Walmart is still selling my pillow, even though it's not me.
Yes, correct.
And they're trying to, yes.
Is there any evidence that they're selling your pillow? Or I guess, is he saying his pillow or my pillow, the brand? I can't tell what he's talking about. Is there any evidence that they're selling your pillow, Mike? Maybe they have stock that they're selling off and they're not going to buy any more from your warehouse. Do you ever consider that? The dude just comes out with the strangest accusations. And just wait. It gets even stranger. It hasn't gotten to the craziest part of this clip yet.
And they're trying to disguise it so the public doesn't go crazy on Walmart. But you know what? They're lying, everybody. Walmart is lying to you and to everybody else. And the Wall Street Journal, the Wall Street Journal called me, Brian, an hour ago. And he said, he asked me two things. He says, do you think this was because you've been fighting, doing all the stuff you're doing for the, I'm sure he'll put conspiracy, right?
Yes. Do you think it's because you're a conspiracy theorist? I believe so. I mean, just speculating. I wasn't in the room when Walmart made the decision, but, what differentiates you from any other pillow manufacturer? The fact that you're a complete conspiracy nutter butter.
Getting rid of the voting machines and everything. And I said, absolutely it is. They have huge ties to China. Walmart has over 10,000 vendors right out of China. They don't want American-made stuff on their shelf. They want China.
Wow. Okay, so I guess Mike Lindell thinks that Walmart wanted to stop selling my pillow so that they could sell a Chinese knockoff. That is one. The guy only has conspiracy theories in his head, honestly. He only has conspiracy theories in his head. That's possible. That's a possibility that that's the case. If it is, provide evidence for it. You can't go out there, claim whatever you want, and expect anybody to believe you. Unfortunately, people do believe this guy. How do you turn into a billionaire by selling pillows? If I knew the pillow market was so, booming, I would have gotten into the pillow industry, years ago. I had no idea pillows were such a hot commodity that it could turn you into a billionaire. I covered this clip last week, too. Listen to this one. He says he has more evidence to release now, apparently. There's even more on top of what he supposedly already released to prove the election was false.
Event on the 16th and 17th of July, everybody. It's going to change everything. And I'll tell you, all the influencers that are invited, thousands of podcasters and TV hosts, radio hosts, that this is going to be the voice of the world. Brandon, I'm going to invite people from overseas, big organizations that have a big influence on the world. They're the ones that are going to be there. And they're going to be handpicked. I'm picking them. They're going to be there, and they're going to put out their voice. And you know what? After those 2 days, if there's any politician left in the United States that says there was no election crime and that they really are in love with those machines, they can sit behind those melted down prison bars made from those machines right next to Brad Rassenberger. We can build a whole big old new prison for all the people that were part of the election crime of 2020.
I guess he says he has more evidence, and anybody who doesn't believe that evidence can go to prison. I am so deeply glad that this guy isn't in a position of political power right now. Although, if that's not disturbing to you, let me show you another interesting clip I totally forgot about. Listen to this clip. This one is from early April 2022. This is Mike Lindell's response to being asked if he would be Donald Trump's vice president.
I think you better ask the other guy.
I think if it's up to him. All right, you guys. I'll let you get to your photos, but Mike, thank you so much. God bless Mike Lindell. Are you kidding me?
I guess being a pillow mogul qualifies you to be the vice president or even the president. So that's where we are right now with Mike Lindell. The guy wants to jail anybody who doesn't believe his conspiracy theories. And they're not even good conspiracy theories. They're not even convincing. He says he has evidence. He doesn't. He simply doesn't have evidence. It's piss poor, all of it. You would think if he's going to pour tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars into all of this, you would think that he would at the very least bring something convincing to the table, but no. And of course, in comes Steve Bannon to take advantage of this poor guy's mental condition. There's obviously something very wrong, like deeply wrong going on with Mike Lindell. I feel that's completely obvious to everybody at this point. Steve Bannon brings Mike Lindell on to talk about the January 6th hearings and all the evidence that Mike Lindell has, and it goes as expected. Listen to this, mid-June 2022.
I only got a minute. I got a couple of questions. I just need yes or no. Has the committee reached out to you to go through all the voluminous material you have about the election of 3 November 2020, sir? Yes or no?
He says, one word answer, yes or no. You guys want to pause the video and take bets as to whether or not it's a one-word answer?
No, they haven't, and it's really, and that's sad too, because I'd love to come to your little committee as long as you nationally televise it there, Miss Pelosi.
Wow. Okay, first of all, Pelosi isn't running the January 6th hearings. It's a bipartisan committee of Republicans and Democrats, and as far as I know, Pelosi's not involved in it at all. She's not on the committee, she's not spearheading the committee, she's not nothing. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here. I don't think Pelosi's involved, but they have turned her into a villain. They have demonized her to just a weird, disturbing degree. Anyway, the point is, Mike Lindell wants to be called in. He wants to be interviewed for the January 6th hearings. Mike, you don't have the evidence. You already presented it to the world, and it was either piss poor or not there in the first place. He held this gigantic cyber symposium, made a big deal out of it, and said, no one's going to be able to deny the evidence after they see this. There was nothing there. He didn't show us anything of substance. He just made some questionable, spurious claims about how China hacked the routers of the Dominion systems and blah, blah, blah. They weren't connected to the internet, Mike. The voting systems weren't connected to the internet. Nobody hacked the systems. So anyway, yeah, that's where we're at with Mike Lindell. Listen to Bannon's next question for him.
Little committee as long as you nationally televise it there, Miss Pelosi.
Okay, fine. Number one, so they're too gutless to get the information you have.
If he had any information of value, he should just release it to the world. And that is actually exactly what he did. He held a big cyber symposium, releasing it to the world. It was piss poor. There was no evidence there. I don't know why he thinks the January 6th committee would be interested in having him come in and repeat all the same stuff he said before. It's just nonsense.
Has Bill Barr ever reached out to you to ask any questions, given all the high profile that you have about this, about anything that you found in regard to election fraud?
Okay, this question is interesting. Has William Barr reached out to you to ask you any questions about your evidence? Why would he? He was the head of the Department of Justice while Trump was the president. He's not the head of the Department of Justice anymore. In fact, he wasn't even the head of the Department of Justice during the January 6th events. He resigned before that. Why would William Barr have anything to say to Mike Lindell? They're just spinning up a conspiracy theory and getting people worked into a blood frenzy over it. That's all they're doing here.
Has Bill Barr ever reached out to you to ask any questions, given all the high profile did you have about this, about anything that you found in regard to election fraud in the last 2 years, sir?
No, and he's actually avoided me, Steve. I mean, I put out stuff, he tried to get stuff to him in the past, and it's a complete block.
Yeah, I don't see why anybody would want to talk to Mike Lindell, least of all William Barr. He has nothing to do with anything. William Barr would have absolutely no reason whatsoever to talk to him. Since we're talking about Steve Bannon, he was on Lindell's TV network. Apparently has a show on there. He went on there and outlined a plan that he has for when Republicans take power back. Listen to this.
Take this very seriously because 13 or 14 generations of this country have sacrificed to hand us the republic we have, and we're not going to be blown off by somebody like Bill Barr. Bill Barr, we're coming for you, bro. You're sitting there lying about this. If you had any decency whatsoever, you'd have reached out to Catherine Ehrenberg before you smeared her.
William Barr, I don't know if you guys have seen the January 6th hearings. In case you haven't, let me just give you a little bit of background. The January 6th hearings are taking place right now where Congress set up a committee to investigate the events and the people involved in January 6th in orchestrating the whole thing. William Barr testified at the January 6th hearings that he saw no evidence of widespread voter fraud, certainly not enough to flip an election or anything. And obviously, the far right is disintegrating over it because William Barr is a staunch Republican. He's been a Republican since the early days, since he was a kid, basically. So William Barr coming out and saying this is ridiculous, none of this adds up, you're full of it, that holds weight. And Steve Bannon and others, especially Mike Lindell, are all very upset. And out of a sense of revenge, presumably, Steve Bannon is outlining exactly what he intends to do when Republicans take power back to William Barr.
Before you smeared her. You'd have reached out to Dinesh D'Souza before you smeared him.
William Barr didn't smear any of these people. It's propagandistic nonsense.
You'd have reached out to Greg Phillips where you smeared them, and the entire team of an 18-month investigation is still going on, of 8 or 10 hours of interviews that you could do and sit there and find out the details and the second and third order magnitude of what they've already thought through before sitting there. And so this is the type of crap that we're stopping. You're just not going to sit there and phone this in and throw it a couple lines. We're going to deconstruct this, and we're going to rub your nose in it, and then we're going to come after you legally. We're not just going to sit here anymore. The days of the deplorables and the days of MAGA just sitting there and our betters telling us what it is.
I don't know why it got cut off, but he says are over. Those days are over. Were they ever here? Did MAGA extremists and quote-unquote deplorables, self-described deplorables, ever not cause drama? I mean, these are terrorists, these people are. I mean, the people that he's referring to are extremists and terrorists. They're completely unhinged, deeply dangerous, deranged people is who he's talking about. The people in his audience that he's referring to specifically are deeply deranged. Did these people ever just let others live their lives? It seems to me that their whole lives are about causing drama. I think Mike Lindell is a true believer, and I honestly think he has some kind of a mental condition. I don't know what's going on up there, but I don't think he's handling this situation well. I don't think he's doing well at all. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Mr. QTube, first name Fa. I bought 2 My Pillows in 2017 before he went nuts. I now have buyer's remorse, right? I think I have a couple of them, or maybe just one lying around. There's actually a better, higher quality pillow brand out there that you can get. I forget what it's called now. Somebody bought me one, like a family member got me one a while back, but it's way, way nicer than My Pillow. A little bit more expensive, but I'm glad my money isn't going to this wingnut. So consider getting one of those instead. Again, I don't remember what the brand name is, but they're out there. I mean, you just got to look a little bit. They're definitely out there. Emily Sigmund, I don't understand why people keep interviewing Lindell. Does the public even care what he has to say? Do far-right Republicans enjoy hearing from him? Far-right Republicans do enjoy hearing from him, yes, a lot, for one thing. And for another thing, he gets invited to a lot of events, which is largely what I covered. Like in the very beginning, he went to an event. people pay him tens of thousands of dollars to speak in an event. He's very high profile. And for a third thing, he has his own TV network, Lindell TV. A lot of the stuff I watched was from his TV network that he runs, that he's on. 3 of like the 5 or 6 clips I covered were from his TV network, Lindell TV. So anyways, yeah, he is still very influential, unfortunately. That's why we cover him.